So welcome to the Delhi current affairs discussion. The first topic that we take up today for discussion regarding the right of property in India. This article highlights the history of the right to property in post-colonial India and the power struggle in the judiciary and the legislature on this particular issue. So the right to property was fundamental right protected under Article 19(1)(f) of the Constitution. It was there as a fundamental right in the Constitution of India. So the Bella Banerjee case, in this case the court focused on how to interpret Article 19(1)(f) and Article 31(2) of the Constitution. The Supreme Court of India decided that Article 31(2), the word compensation amount providing the owner with a fair equivalent for whatever they lost. So when the government took over the property, so the compensation paid by the government should be fair and equivalent to what they lost. Okay. But that was the beginning of the controversy over the right to property. Okay. So to change this interpretation, the fourth constitutional amendment was passed in 1955. This amendment explicitly stated that court could not question the inadequacy of the compensation. So if the compensation given by the government is inadequate, the court cannot interpret the amount, and whatever is being given by the government is to be accepted as a compensation instead of the price of the compensated property or the lost property, but a compensation given by the government to the person who is being disowned from his property by the government, and the government is taking the property for some public work. Keswananda Bharati case, Parliament understood the term compensation in Article 31(2) was causing problems, so they repealed it with amount, though the 25th Constitutional Amendment Act 1971, which prevented the court from interpreting it. The Supreme Court in its judgment interpreted that while the adequacy of the amount paid is not justiciable, the principle of determining such compensation were still open to judicial review. How much being given as compensation is subject to judicial review. The interpretation of the court. The 44th Amendment, the Janata Party government passed the Constitution 44th Amendment Act in 1978, which deleted the right to property from the list of fundamental rights and placed it as a constitutional right under Article 300A. So because fundamental rights are granted and guaranteed by the Constitution, so any citizen losing his right to property is able to take recourse to the judicial institution and judicial process for its compensation. So government changed it from a constitutional right to a legal right. Okay, that means it is a right but legal right, and no more it is a constitutional right after the 44th Amendment passed in 1978 by the Janata Dal government. Article 31, which has caused a lot of debate about how compensation should be decided, was removed from the Constitution in the group of fundamental rights. Okay, so this Article 31 is completely removed by the amendment, the 44th Amendment. Argument against the deletion of Article 31. One of the dissenting judge in the Keswananda Bharati held that the right to property should be considered a basic feature of the Constitution. Okay, so the right to property should be considered as a basic feature. The power granted under entry 40 to the concurrent list allow for acquisition, not confiscation, and it is stressed that compensation should still mean that was defined in the Bella Banerjee case. Okay. Under the various Supreme Court judgment after the deletion of Article 19(1)(f) and 31, in the year following the deletion of Article 19(1)(f) and Article 31, the Supreme Court has held that the right to property is not only a constitutional right but also a human right. In the MC Mehta case, the court stated that a law depriving a person from property must be just, fair, and reasonable. In the KB Ravichandran case, in this case, the court observed that the phrasing of Article 300A resembled Article 21 and 265 and its guarantee could not be read down. The Kolkata Municipal Corporation case, the recent decision in the Kolkata Municipal Corporation case has fleshed out seven facets protected under Article 300A, including the right to notice, the right to be heard also. The court has affirmed that the obligation to provide compensation, which mean the value of the property taken in monetary terms as established in the Bella Banerjee case, has been restored. Next is neglect of children issue in election. The article highlights the lack of attention given to children's interest by political parties in India, despite children constituting about 30% of the country's population. It emphasizes the need for political parties to address issues related to children's nutrition, education, and health in their election manifesto. What is the education related promise made by different political parties? BJP promises to strengthen PM Sri schools. So PM Sri stands for Schools for Rising India, Ecolabor schools and other model schools. BJP aims for 100% gross enrollment ratio from preschool to secondary level, but lack concrete step to achieve this. Although, so they have a plan for 100% gross enrollment, but they don't have a clear vision plan for this. How to achieve this? Congress promises to amend the Right to Education Act to make education from class 1 to 8 compulsory and free. Congress and DMK promise financial support and economic opportunity to curb dropout rates. CPM promises to expand the RTE from 3 to 18 years. So from 3 to 14 to 3 to 18 years. What are the nutrition and healthcare related promises made by various political parties? The BJP focuses on eliminating malnutrition among tribal children. CPIM Okay, the CPIM promises to expand the RT from 3 to 18 years. The what are the nutrition and healthcare related promises? The BJP focus on eliminating malnutrition of the tribal children. CPM commit to universalize the integrated child development services scheme to cover all children aged 0 to 6 years and provide nutritious meals. It assures complete coverage of basic services like immunization and regular health checkup for all children. Congress promises to amend the Right to Education Act to make education from class 1 to 8 compulsory and free. Congress and DMK promise financial support and economic opportunity for that. Okay, and here CPIM provides immunization and regular health checkup for all children. Uh, the Congress promises to expand the midday meal scheme program to up to class 12, while DMK promises to expand the Chief Minister's breakfast scheme for children to aided schools class 1 to 5. It also promises to address nutritional deficiency among children and ensure full immunization of children within 5 years, currently at 76%. DMK, the Tamil party, okay. So promises budgetary allocation to ensure complete healthcare during the first 1,000 days of the child's development and mental health program in the school. So different political parties have made different promises for the children, but they are not too sufficient. What are some unaddressed areas in political manifesto regarding the children? Manifesto of various political parties have not addressed issues such as children's participation in decision-making process, online safety for children, and initiative to prevent child exploitation. There is a lack of child right-based approach in the manifesto and the tendency to club children with women or youth, thereby downplaying their specific needs. There is a focus solely on a few cost-intensive model schools as opposed to bringing systemic changes to improve the public education system. Political parties must prioritize education, child nutrition, and health in their manifesto. and voters need to assess the party's vision and seriousness in safeguarding the future of children. Challenges facing Indian agriculture. The article highlights the difficult journey and challenges that the Indian agriculture sector faces as the country moves towards the Amrit Kal golden era. It emphasizes that policymakers have not managed to secure decent income for farmers and the sector is stuck in a tough situation that might not be easy to improve. Okay, so next is challenges facing Indian agriculture. This article highlights the difficult journey and challenges that the Indian agriculture sector face as the country moves towards the Amrit Kal golden era. It emphasizes that policymakers have not managed to secure decent income for farmers and the sector is stuck in a tough situation that might not be easy to improve. Major challenges faced by the agriculture: climate change. The irreversible effect of climate change are impacting crop production and livelihood through erratic climate events. World Trade Organization challenges. There is unfairness within the WTO and deliberate action are taken by the US to weaken the dispute resolution mechanism. This creates obstacles for India in enforcing these rulings domestically. Small land holdings. Most of the cultivable lands is made up of small holdings, accounting for approximately 85%. This situation poses challenges for primary producers in sustaining a satisfactory income from agriculture. Global priority for low food prices. The global focus on keeping food prices low for consumers often leads to lowering farm gate prices artificially. This makes farming financially unremunerative and harm the environment in the long run. Depleting aquifer. There is a continuous depletion of aquifers due to the large demand for water for agriculture use. Then subsidies. The skewed fertilizer subsidy leads to indiscriminate use of fertilizer, impacting health and the planet. Public debt and financial flexibility. Government debt, both nationally and locally, limits financial flexibility for long-term planning and restrict the ability to continuously provide subsidies. Many states are on the brink of being technically bankrupt, yet there is no process for states to declare bankruptcy like countries can. Governance and accountability. The ineffective leadership and absence of responsibility in the government departments overseeing agriculture, both at the national and state level, stem from the authoritative attitude of the top officials. What should be the way forward? Investment in research and extension services. The government needs to enhance investment in agricultural research and extension services, as every rupee invested in agricultural research yield economic return upward of 10 times over other investment. Inclusive and sustainable agriculture. The government's attention should extend beyond enhancing agricultural productivity to ensuring the sustainability of these improvements. This should benefit all segments of society and foster inclusive growth. Okay, because agriculture will definitely facilitate inclusive growth in a more proactive manner than other sector, because agriculture contributes substantial to employment opportunity in the country. Okay. So then next is about the GST data and private consumption. Indian economy and issue relating to planning, mobilization, resources, growth, development, and employment. This article highlights the strong performance of the goods and service tax collection in India, with net collection outpacing nominal GDP growth in the previous financial year. The highest ever monthly GST collection of 2.1 trillion in April 24 shows how GST data can provide insight about private consumption trends. Significance of the GST data in providing insight into private consumption trend. GST is a consumption-based tax occurring to the state where goods are consumed rather than where they are produced. The state-level GST data can indicate subnational private consumption trend, which is beneficial because high-frequency data on private consumption is lacking in India. Analyzing GST data from different states reveals consumption nuance and economic trends. This provides valuable information for both policymakers and the business. GST data can become a more real-time measure of consumption expenditure and provide data-led insight into the economy at both national and the state levels. GST data can yield valuable insight into consumption pattern, import contributions, and consumption of climate-sensitive items across the states. This will help in enhancing understanding about the economy. GST compensation cess data that is imposed on luxury and harmful goods. Okay, there is a strong positive correlation between per capita GST collection and per capita income across states, indicating that richer states have a higher propensity to consumption. There is a positive relationship between okay. So there is a strong positive correlation between per capita GST collection and per capita income across states, indicating that richer states have a higher propensity to consumption. There is a positive relationship between the share of urban population and per capita GST collection, implying that urbanization propels private consumption. And then biocover, the use of microbial methane oxide oxidation system, especially biocovers utilizing fine fractions from the landfills mining, present a promising model of methane control. Okay, something new. What is biocover? Biocover are types of methane oxidation system that utilize the fine fraction material from landfill mining to effectively control methane emissions. There are porous material layers laid directly on top of a landfill, which is then covered by an oxidizing layer of matured compost. It provides optimal conditions for methanotrophic bacteria to thrive and act as biofilters, hence controlling methane emission by converting methane to carbon dioxide. The key points about the biocovers are: they reduce methane emission from landfills and dump sites. The fine fraction material recovered from the landfills mining is used to construct the biocover system. This fine fraction would otherwise be difficult to repurpose due to high contamination level in them. This method shows promises for application in India's over 33,000 legally dumped sites, which continuously generate methane and are prone to fires, making effective methane control critical for climate change mitigation. This is what they are to be. So this should be precipitation, transpiration, evaporation. So this will be that vegetative layers cover will be there, composted based biocover, compost based biocover will be there. Okay, that will lead to all environmental benefit. Then the Sunkosi River under the Plastic Free River and Sea of South Asia program, a river cleanup campaign was successfully removed 24,575 kg of waste from the Sunkosi River banks and waste hotspots. So it is also known as the River of Gold. The Sunkosi, located in the Nepal land, is part of the Kosi or Saptakosi river system. This river is among the longest and most rafted in Nepal. The Sankosi originates from the Jiangsu Glacier in Tibet. It merges with the Saptakosi River and eventually joins the Ganga, known as the Ganges, in the Kathiawar district of Bihar in India. It drains into Bay of Bengal in Bangladesh. About this Kosi River, the Kosi River is a transboundary river that flows from China, Nepal, and India. It serves as a prominent tributary of the Ganges. Okay. So the Kosi River has earned the nickname of the Sorrow of Bihar due to its history of flooding and a frequent alteration in its course as it flows. Okay, it originates from the Tibetan plateau and crosses the Himalaya and flows through the Mahabharat range and the Siwalik hills. It reaches the plains of eastern Nepal and finally meets the Ganges in Bihar, India. Okay, the Kosi drains an area of 74,500 square kilometer with only 11,070 square kilometer lying within India territory. The Kosi river system drains about 45% of Nepal. The Kosi river valley is bounded by steep margins, disconnecting it from the other rivers such as the Arlung Jongo River, the Mahananda River, and the Gandaki and the Ganga River. The Kosi River is known for its tendency to change course, often flowing westward. The last 200 years, it has shifted westward by approximately 12 kilometers, causing significant changes in agricultural land because of the shifting of its course. The Kosi River has 7 major tributaries: Sankosi, Tamakosi, the Tambakosi, the Dudkosi, then the Indravati, the Likhu, the Arun, the Tamur or the Tamar River. The doctrine of merger, the Supreme Court of India has noted that the unique power granted under Article 142 of the Indian Constitution are exception to two established legal principles: the doctrine of merger and the doctrine of stare decision. This is done to ensure justice in comprehensively served in specific cases. About the doctrine of merger purpose, the doctrine of merger aims to maintain decorum and order lines in the judicial system. It is a judiciary created doctrine aimed at instilling discipline across different levels of court and authorities. Principle: when a higher court or appellate court makes a ruling, the original ruling by the lower court is absorbed or merged into the higher court decision. That is called the question of the doctrine of merger. The rationale: this ensures that only one final ruling exists on any given issue, avoiding confusion over which order should be followed. Application: this doctrine applies to decisions made by all level of courts, ensuring that the ruling of the higher court supersedes and absorbs that of the lower court. Because in India, judiciary is in a hierarchical position, the lower courts are always subservient, and the decisions of the higher court are always binding on the lower courts. That makes the lower court subservient to the lower court's order. The this Latin from to stand by things decided This doctrine mandates that court follow the ruling made in the earlier similar case. Okay, so important of the precedents, past decisions of the precedent, which are principle or rules that guide judicial decisions in future similar cases. Okay, role of precedents, these are used by judges as reference for making decision in current cases with similar legal questions. Obligations, courts are obliged to consider these precedents in their ruling to maintain consistency and predictability in the law. Okay, these doctrine collectively ensure that the legal system operates efficiently, maintaining consistency and hierarchy in judicial decision. Then India's gold reserve. Reserve Bank of India recently moved 100 metric tons of gold from the UK to domestic vault, a significant shift reflecting geopolitical concern and risk diversification strategy. India's total gold holding stands as 822 metric tons, with a portion stored in foreign vault for international trade, facilitation and risk trading. Around 50% is stored locally in India. These reserves are primarily held in the Bank of England, the Bank of International Settlement in Switzerland, and in the Federal Reserve Bank of New York. This move aims to mitigate risk associated with geopolitical tension and ensure greater control over gold reserves for economic stability and inflation management. Why has RBI held gold in recent years? The RBI is accumulating gold as a counter strategy against negative interest rate and geopolitical uncertainty. In times of inflation and economic stress, gold offers a good return compared to US government bond. Additionally, gold provides a hedge against geopolitical uncertainty, especially amid conflict like the Russia-Ukraine war and tension between the US and China. Diversifying forex reserve with gold added security, liquidity and value during crisis. Gold's historical significance in the economy includes its role as a reserve currency, intrinsic value and its ability to boost a nation's currency value. It can also serve as a substitute for government security in central bank operation. All banknotes issued by RBI are backed by assets such as gold, government security and foreign currency asset as defined in section 33 of the RBI Act 1934. Then the United India Organic Logo, the FASI and the Agricultural Production Export Development Agency APDA have developed a new unified India Organic logo to replace the existing India Organic and that Jivik Bharat logos. This move aims to bring uniformity in the implementation of the organic regulation by the NPPO, Unified India Organic Logo. Okay, India Organic and Jivik. Okay, and FASI. Okay. The new logo is expected to come into force in the near future, and certification bodies will be given a 3-month transition period. Okay, the India Organic logo is used as an organic product complying with the National Program for Organic Products, while the Jibik Bharat is used on organic products certified by FASI, the Food Safety and Standard Authority of India. Regulator of Organic Products, Food Safety and Standard Authority of India under the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare regulates the manufacture, distribution, sale or import of organic products through the Food Safety and Standard Regulation 2017 under the FSSA 2006. Coming to the question, analyze the biopolitical implications of growing foreign influence in Bangladesh for India and suggest way to safeguard Indian interest. The geopolitical landscape in South Asia is rapidly evolving, with Bangladesh emerging as a focal point of strategic competition between India and China. A recent incident highlighting this shift in the joint military exercise, China-Bangladesh Golden Friendship 2024, which included anti-terrorism operation and hostage rescue scenario. This event underscored China's growing military and economic influence in Bangladesh, posing significant strategic challenge for India. Strategic and security concern, Chinese military presence, the increasing number of Chinese military exercise and the provision of advanced military hardware to Bangladesh, including submarines and fighter jets, heighten security concern for India. This development enhanced China's strategic presence in India's immediate neighborhood. Submarine base at the Cox's Bazar, the establishment of a Chinese-built submarine base in Bangladesh at Cox's Bazar poses a strategic threat to India by potentially enabling Chinese naval operation in the Bay of Bengal, thereby disrupting. Okay, the submarine base at Cox's Bazar is a threat. So, enabling threat to India by potentially enabling Chinese naval opportunity operation in Bay of Bengal, thereby disrupting the regional balance of power. Economic competition, Belt and Road Initiative, China's substantial investment in Bangladesh under the BRI, totaling over 38 billion, significantly overshadow India's economic engagement. These investments span infrastructure, energy, connectivity project, potentially marginalizing Indian influence and economic interest in Bangladesh. Trade imbalance, the growing trade volume between China and Bangladesh, which reached 25 billion, exacerbate the trade balance in favor of China, potentially sidelining Indian export and economic influence in the region. Okay, political diplomatic relation. China's unwavering support for Bangladesh ruling party, the Awami League, and its non-interference stance in Bangladesh internal matter strengthen its political influence, challenging India's historical ties and influence over Bangladesh. Election dynamics. The geopolitical rivalry impacts Bangladesh election, with both China and India vying for influencing over the political landscape, affecting India's ability to maintain favorable relations regardless of the ruling party, because Indian government is close to the ruling Awami League, but Chinese influence is somehow diluting this. Ways to safeguard Indian interest, strengthening bilateral relation, enhance diplomatic engagement. India should intensify diplomatic effort to enforce its historical and cultural ties with Bangladesh. For example, high-level visit and strategic dialogue can help address mutual concern and build trust. Economic cooperation, expanding economic cooperation through increased investment, trade agreement, and infrastructure projects can counterbalance Chinese economic influence. For example, initiatives like the India-Bangladesh Coastal Shipping Agreement can enhance connectivity and trade. Security and defense collaboration, joint military exercise, increasing the frequency and scope of joint military exercise with Bangladesh can bolster defense ties and enhance interoperability between the two militaries. For example, counter-terrorism drill and maritime security operation, defense technology transfer, providing advanced defense technology and training to the Bangladeshi military can help maintain a strategic edge and deter Chinese military influence. Then multilateral engagement, regional cooperation framework, promoting regional cooperation through forums like the BIMSTEC, the Bay of Bengal Initiative for Multi-Sectoral Technical Economic Cooperation, can foster, where China is not a member, can foster collective security and economic development. Joint initiative on disaster management, counter-terrorism, and maritime security are the most important domain where they can cooperate without any conflict of interest. Okay. For example, joint initiative on disaster management, then quadrilateral security dialogue, Quad leveraging partnership with the Quad, India, Japan, Australia, and USA can provide a counterbalance to China influence and ensure regional stability. For example, joint initiative on infrastructure development, cyber security, and maritime security can be pivotal. India must adopt a multifaceted strategy to safeguard its interest in Bangladesh, Amidst growing Chinese influence, by strengthening bilateral frameworks, India can maintain its strategic foothold and ensure regional stability. Future efforts should focus on sustainable economic partnership, strategic defense collaboration, and proactive diplomatic engagement to navigate the evolving geopolitical dynamics effectively. Then come to the MCQ, consider the following statement. The Constitution of India states that no person shall be deprived of their right property except by the authority of law. The right to property is a constitutional right as well as a human right. The fundamental right to property was removed by the 1 and 2 44th amendment, not 42nd amendment. So 1 and 2 are right. So two options are right. The following statement: rabies is a zoonotic disease, right? Rabies is a that bacterial infection that infects the respiratory system. No. Rabies can be prevented through vaccination. 1 and 3 are correct. That means 1 and 3 C. Then which of the following has developed the PRO-BAHA software, sometimes mentioned in news? It was developed by the Indian Space Research Organization, ISRO. This is the following statement regarding the sickle cell disease. It is a group of inherited white blood cell disorder. That's no, not white blood cell, red blood cell. The hydroxyurea is an effective drug for treating patients with sickle cell disease. So only 2 is right. Okay, 1 is incorrect. This is the following statement about the Phenomi India project. The project was launched by Council of Scientific and Industrial Research in the year 2023. That's right. The object of the project is to assess risk factor in non-communicable disease within the Indian population. There both 1 and 2 are right. Gilgit-Baltistan region is situated in the north of Srinagar, right? Consider the following statement about the Unified Payment Interface. UPI is a mobile application used for instant money transfer between bank account in India. UPI requires users to enter full bank account detail for each transaction. No. UPI is only available for peer-to-peer transaction. No. Only 1 is right. Then consider the following statement about the Sankosi River. Sankosi River, it is also known as the River of Gold. The Sankosi is located in Nepal and is part of the Kosi and Saptakosi river system, right? It merges with the Saptakosi river and eventually joins the Ganga in the Kathar district of Bihar in India. Both are right here, 1 and 2. Answer is A. So which of the following is not component of India's foreign exchange reserve? Foreign currency asset, right? Special drawing rights, right? Government bonds denominated in rupee, no, it is not. And gold reserve. 1, A, B, D are correct. So which is following not component is government bond denominated in rupee, is not in the foreign exchange reserve. C is incorrect. Biocover can refer to a few different things. Select the answer that best describe the use of biocover in landfills. Biocover, plastic sheets placed, no. A layer of compost placed on top of the landfill to capture and neutralize the methane gas emission. B is the right answer.